WKBN is learning more about a shooting that resulted in a standoff this morning in Mercer County. We brought you the story as breaking news. They are inside that home going through evidence as we speak. Here is what we know. Two men came to this home around 3 o'clock this afternoon. A wind has kind of died down, but we're experiencing some of that snowfall that you talked about. Right here in the background, we have Armstrong. They are out here. They are actually running a generator in this neighborhood. The WKBN news team continues to dig this morning for answers related to a double homicide less than 24 hours ago. Make sure the bridge was structurally sound. You can see right here all of the cleanup crews have now left, but there is damage to the left side of that bridge. You see the guardrail pretty charred and banged up there. Is it kind of overwhelming to come in after such a dynamic person? We learned a short time ago that Monday night's deadly shooting in Warren was a home invasion. During this chase, Amy, and for our viewers out there, the police are saying that the suspects were using explosives, throwing them out of the vehicle. Zimmerman's headlights caught the body as she was coming around Highland Avenue. People have been talking about Mandela's ability to forgive. Spending 27 years there in a prison cell certainly can take a toll on your mind and your spirit.
WKBN 27 First News starts now with breaking news.
And our news team is in downtown Youngstown, where a not guilty verdict was announced about 20 minutes ago in the John Delic menacing case. Jurors spent about an hour reaching that decision. First News reporter Jerry Ricciuti was in the courtroom, and he joins us live with more. Jerry?
Damon, back to you.
Thank you very much, Jerry. Look for more from First News tonight at 5 and 6 online at WKBN.com. Another big story today, the leader of Trumbull County's Democrats says that he won't stand for intimidation tactics. Today, Dan Polivka maintained the local party did nothing wrong when they held votes to elect a new county commissioner. But the leader of the state party says otherwise. And according to Polivka, the two sides haven't talked about the accusations of rules not being followed.
And during this whole process, the guy, he called me to raise money, but he hasn't even picked up the phone to give me a call.
WKBN's Jeff Coolidge was at today's news conference and was able to ask about the growing controversy. We join Jeff now live with the very latest. Thank you very much, Jeff. WKBN spoke this morning with the superintendent of Howland Local Schools about his upcoming retirement. And we have more details now. During First News this morning, we reported that John Sheets would be leaving at the end of 2014. The school board this week accepted his wishes. Sheets told me over the phone that his last day is set for December the 31st. He has been the superintendent of Howland Schools since the year 2007, but has 35 years in education. Well, what comes next? Sheets said he has no plans, but he is not closing any doors. Board members are now talking about how the search for a replacement will move ahead. The Columbiana County Fair heads into a second day, and if you plan on going, you better bring a jacket. Gates open at 8 o'clock this morning with those temperatures hitting right around the mid-50s. Yeah, it is July still. Harness racing gets underway in 1 hour in the grandstand, and tonight is bike night. You can also check out a free concert, Phil Dirt and the Dozers. Senior citizens and veterans, they get in free all day long. And for the daily fair schedule, just log on to our website, WKBN.com, and under the News tab, all you have to do is click on Recent Links, and you'll find the fair's schedule. Turning things now to the Weather Center, Rich Morgan is standing by. And Rich, we were hoping things got a little warmer after waking up this morning to those low temperatures. Adrian Toe's smile instantly fills a room. Her son Kellen, who's 15 months, seems to make that smile permanent.
He just surprises me every day. He's singing. I mean, he loves the song Let It Go from Frozen. He sings it all the time. He's talking. He loves to dance.
These moments captured on camera inside Maniac Magazine's Pittsburgh office. Adrian won the magazine's online Maniac Mom contest. Her story is in the upcoming Women of Power edition. And the pictures Adrian and Kellen took today in Pittsburgh, they'll be in Maniac Magazine's next issue, which will be available September and October. October being Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Adrian and her doctor celebrated after Kellen's birth, April 17, 2013. A healthy boy, and the chemo Adrian received during pregnancy appeared to work.
Meaning that when I did my surgery and they removed both breasts, there was no cancer in the breast anywhere, no lymph nodes, scans were clear.
But this past March, news Adrian and her doctors didn't want and did not expect.
There's a less than 10% chance of it spreading, and it did.
The cancer spread to Adrian's liver.
I refused to let it put me in like a dark place.
She's on 2 chemo plans, one of which is a clinical study.
My last scans were at the end of June, and it showed 72% regression, which was the fastest, most drastic regression they've had in this trial.
Adrian's determination and blessings keep her going.
He is just a ball of energy.
Each day, it's all about the baby steps for Adrian and her family.
I don't let myself think too far ahead, which is hard, and I get emotional thinking about it. But a lot of people can look forward to certain milestones, and I'm just taking every day, one day at a time, and enjoying that day.
Adrian and her husband would like to have more kids one day, but Kellen is keeping Mom quite busy, a daily reminder of who she's living for. Damon Maloney, WKBN 27 First News. Ribbons usually mark a spot where tragedy has hit. Jim London's been wrapping streetlight poles to prevent something bad from happening.
Lights are either out or real dim.
He's marked about 20 in his Idora Park neighborhood, including this light at Winona and Volney, which doesn't come on. And he worries about drivers.
Getting from point A to point B.
And his neighbors.
Here in the community, we feel that a well-lit area deters crime.
I traveled to all corners of the city, scouring numerous neighborhoods, taking video and pictures of problem lights. It didn't take long to spot our first issue, and as we put on the miles, they kept popping up. Street after street after street. Sharice White showed me this light outside her home on Crandall Avenue.
Well, as you can see, the light right over here has been on all day. It hasn't gone off, and sometimes it doesn't come on in the evening.
Downtown on West Commerce Street, I counted at least 5 lights out on the block. But check out the entrance ramp to the Madison Avenue Expressway near St. E's Hospital and the Hemrod Expressway. Each had at least a half dozen lights not casting a bright glow on the road below. Ian Beniston with YNDC says malfunctioning lights is a widespread issue. Residents mentioned it at nearly a dozen neighborhood meetings over the last several weeks.
It kind of reinforces the perception, oh, the street lights are pitch black and you can't see what's going on. People don't feel safe.
First Energy is responsible for most of the lights in the city, so we asked them about general light maintenance and the most blatant problem spots along the Hemrod and Madison Avenue expressways. The power company said crews are working with ODOT to bring the lights back, but they couldn't tell us how long it's been a problem. People we spoke to say it's been a while. First Energy says that they fix about 1,000 lights in the city of Youngstown every year, but the company says they simply don't have the time, the manpower, or the technology to tell them when lights aren't working properly. So they depend on you to tell them what to investigate, like this light that's not working on Glenwood near Ferndale. You can call, fax, or report a problem on the company's website. You'll need the pole number found on tags like this, but they're sometimes hard to find or even missing. An address or a landmark closest to the problem pole also works. First Energy says it fixes 96% of reported lights in an average of 3 days.
You have to be very, very vocal.
Valeria Gonçalves leads a Northside Block Watch. She's reported many bad lights.
As time goes on, since these are older street lights, you just have to stay on top of this matter.
Which is why she passes out these First Energy cards so neighbors can help keep streetlights working in the areas they call home. Damon Maloney for 27 Investigates. Dave and Erica, we wanted to see what's changed since a 2012 report from the State Health Department. It showed several areas where the Youngstown City Health District wasn't properly carrying out its obligations. So we investigated to find out what's been done to make sure all of us stay safe. Cicero Davis runs the food service inspection program in Youngstown.
It's 39 degrees.
It needs to be
41 or below.
Okay, 41 or below. It's a numbers game for Davis. About 500 licensed food establishments and vendors are in the city limits. They include coffee shops, bars and restaurants, schools, even vending machines. Some require 2 inspections every year. We added it up. In 1 year, about 700 inspections have to be completed. Currently, there's only Davis and another full-time food inspector, also known as sanitarians. Could it be fair to say you guys are stretched pretty thin when it comes to the job you're tasked with?
Yes, I would agree with your statement. We're stretched thin, yes.
In the past, there's been some issues with the number of inspections that you guys have been able to complete, not completing them. You guys are now in compliance.
Yes.
What changes did you guys make to kind of fix problem areas?
So we were able to get some sanitarians on loan from another division. The mayor has allowed us to, at this point, hire, and hopefully we'll be having some additional staff members coming on by the end of the year.
Davis told me if he was calling the shots, there would be an inspector in each of Youngstown's 7 wards. But the reality is the city's only given the green light to hire 2 more full-time inspectors, bringing the total number to 4.
So you just kind of have to really sit down, and you got to know that each day you have to have everything mapped out.
Aaron Bishop is the city's acting health commissioner. As part of the correction plan ordered from the state, Bishop says now monthly meetings take place to make sure sanitarians are doing inspections and on time.
So they're not coming to me at the beginning of February saying, oh my God, I'm never going to get this done.
Ohio also checked needs improvement for Youngstown related to finances. State rules mandate monies collected, like licensing fees, only go to the food safety program. The health district has been putting that money in the city's general fund. The state originally didn't like that. Youngstown's finance department says it's been done that way because the fees alone don't fully pay for the food program. Under further review, local officials say the state reversed course and approved the way they track the money.
They want to see it separate, and so, working with our finance department, that we were able to comply with that.
Bishop maintains the food service program always got back what it took in. She and Davis say it all boils down to this.
We have not had any major outbreaks in a number of years here in the city. I think that goes to show that, even with the short staff that we've had, we've done an effective job.
Today we heard from the acting health commissioner that 85% of their restaurant inspections have been completed for the year, which ends February 28th. And it's important to note that restaurant inspections is just one part of what the Environmental Health Division is responsible for within the city. Back to you. And this young hero told me school teachers taught him a thing or two about what to do in case of an emergency. He was certainly paying attention, and it paid off. Nathan Naprakowski is a normal 9-year-old kid having some weekend fun, but a day ago things turned serious when neighbor Shirley Guthrie called. She was inside this burning home. Nathan's dad answered the phone, but he heard the conversation.
She called and she was screaming, help, help, and saying my dad's name, come up here quick.
Nathan, his brother, and dad ran a few doors down. They went inside the home. Shirley wasn't able to get out on her own.
I breathed in smoke and I just thought, I was like, holy crap.
I yelled for him to get help, and he immediately ran into the neighbor and got a local neighbor guy, and he came over and helped me get her out.
And as all of this was happening, oxygen in the home used by Shirley only intensified the situation.
Because all the windows blew out and the flame balls were shooting out of the door, all the windows of the house.
More neighbors came to the rescue and Shirley was finally safe, suffering from smoke inhalation, a minor burn to her hand, and some cuts. But she was alive.
God was with her yesterday, that's all I can say.
But if it had not been for the quick actions of many,
even she said she would have been dead.
Dad is proud of everyone's response, especially his sons.
They learned about it in school, so plus he knew it was serious by the phone call and by my reactions and by the smoke, obviously. He's never seen that before.
Nathan admits to being a little scared, even freezing at one point, but has this advice for kids who may find themselves in an emergency.
I tell them to get their either mom or dad or neighbors, or call the police.
Shirley is staying with a relative and doing fine. The cause of the fire is still under investigation, but officials say it's not suspicious. Nathan's ready to get back to the fun after what many would consider a heroic act.
Luckily, she didn't die.